It's a crime and shame with Sunny Justice. Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. Come on, Deb, come join us. Yeah, what did she go to do while we were away, huh?
Come on, Deb.
I know, right? Anyways, thank you guys all for joining us tonight. And I especially want to thank Candy for joining us tonight. That's friend number one's mom. So yeah, I just want to say I wanted to thank Candy so much. Me and her ended up chatting in Messenger, and she's a really great lady. And so basically how it's going to go tonight is we're going to introduce her in a few moments. I'm not sure where Deb is, but we got her smiling avatar right there. Anyways, yeah, we're going to introduce her in a few moments, and then, she dropped. Oh, issues already, eh? Okay. And then Adam's going to take over for a bit and is going to talk with Candy, and me and Deb are just going to sit off to the side. And then, so we just ask a couple things. If there's any trolling or ignorant comments, I will turn it to subscriber only mode and boot. Okay, this is about, again, Abby and Libby. And yeah, and so as well, like I said, Adam's going to be talking with Candy for a bit here first. So please, we're not going to be answering any questions until it opens up to take questions. Basically, we just want to sit back, listen, see what she has to say, to tell us. And again, I appreciate her very much for coming on with us tonight. All right. Hey, Deb.
Hey, Deb.
You dropped on us over there. Yeah.
All of a sudden, it just like, I was gone.
Yeah. Okay.
Right,
so
bye.
Yeah. So again, whoever has mods, anyone's being ignorant, rude, whatever, give them the boot. And if it does get a little bit crazy with trolls or whatever, we'll just turn it to subscriber only mode. And then good fight for them. Alrighty. So yeah, is there anything, Deb or Adam, that you want to say before we start?
No, if you just want to introduce Candy, I'm sending a message really quick and I will be right in.
Okay. All right. Okay.
See you soon.
All right. Hey, Candy.
Hello.
Thanks again. Like I was just saying, thanks so much again for doing this. I'm so appreciative. Well, we all are. Yeah. And I'm just very grateful that, like I said, me and Candy kind of bonded through Messenger there. Great lady. And then when she said she was going to come on live tonight, I was just, the group was, we were all just ecstatic, actually. So thank you so much. And
no problem.
Yeah. So, Adam.
Yes.
Do you still need a minute? Because no problem. I can sit here and talk.
Just 1 minute.
Yeah, no problem. You know what? As we're doing that, I'm going to quickly share. Candy took a couple of pictures today, so I'll just bring those up for 1 second here. And let me just close that. 1 sec there. Oh my goodness. I feel like fumble fingers here. Okay, share screen. Okay, so quickly. Okay, so Candy was nice enough to drive by. She was nice enough to drive by, obviously, Tony's house today. And so the greenhouse would be the house that her son, not Candy, but her son lived in. And of course, the other one is Tony Kline's with his white truck there. And mind you, there's another picture, but we can show that later. So let's take that off and remove. Okay. So, Adam, if you're ready, I can put us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to remove myself, actually.
Hey, Candy, how are you?
Hi, Adam. Good. How are you?
Good. I know we've been playing like Ring Around the Rosie for like a month with, between me and your son and you and Sonny. And so
yeah,
I first of all wanted to thank you for being an ER nurse. I know that you've been an ER nurse for 30 years, right?
30 years. I'm an ER tech.
Well, you're a first responder and first frontline worker, and I wanted to thank you for that. I can't imagine what the last 2 years have been like, and I just wanted to thank you for. How are things where you're at now?
Not as bad as what they were, but they're getting better. But it's been busy.
Good.
Not too bad though.
Like I said, I can't imagine what it's been like, but I applaud you for your work.
Well, thank you.
So I first of all, I've never done an interview like this, so I apologize if I sound awkward or weird.
No, but, you're fine.
I do want to thank you, and I also wanted to make sure that anything you're not comfortable talking about or that you don't know the answers to, feel free to pass on or just be like, look, I don't know what you're talking about, bitch.
Yeah.
But no, don't feel like there's any pressure because we are casual and you're among friends.
Nope, you're fine.
Again, like I said, I can't imagine what the last couple of years have been like, but I will start with, I also can't imagine what the last 5 years have been like, having been kind of thrust into this. Like
actually, we haven't really till lately. I mean,
really,
it's been a while.
So my first question was like, just generally, how has this all affected you and your family?
It didn't really come into play until they arrested Kegan. Then it really started amping up a little bit, because before that it was like I never had any idea. I mean, until they arrested Kegan, I didn't even know they were looking for him. I didn't even know nothing about it until, as I said, until they arrested Kegan. Then it was like, what? Wow. It kind of scared me. It scared me a lot.
I can only imagine. So, and I apologize if anything that I ask is repetitive.
Oh no, you're fine.
But I know that you never asked to be involved with this, and I know that I've talked to your son, and he didn't ask to be involved with this either. And I know that it was important to him that his name wasn't used, and I'm not going to use it here. I know no one will. But I did want to say I can only imagine what this has been like for your son having children, and I know he's told me it was surreal and created an understandable unwanted amount of attention and suspicion. What it must feel like that to be thrown into like such a horrific and bizarre set of events. When did you first hear about what happened in Delphi?
Oh, well, I knew what happened to Delphi almost immediately. This is small town America. So when we heard about Delphi, I mean, when it was on the news, it was like, wow, because that stuff just doesn't happen here. And so it was a big time story. And Delphi is it's just a little bitty hick town that nothing ever happens.
Right.
So
and you're in Peru, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
So how for everyone that doesn't know, how far away is Peru from Delphi?
I'd say 35 to 40 minutes from here.
Okay.
I mean, it's not right around the corner, but it's a little ways from here.
Right.
So it's not like right around
the corner. Not in for people that don't understand the context, when you live in a rural town, that's a much closer proximity than it is in a city. Like, where I grew up in Southern Illinois, it was 25 minutes to my high school. So, whereas if you live in a city, 45 minutes could be much further away than it would be in a small town.
Yes.
People are just much more closer connected, even though they're geographically further apart.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, all these are really we're no Indianapolis or anything like that.
Right.
So our towns are, real small. Delphi is like you spit through the town. So
right. Like a one stoplight town.
Yeah, pretty much. It's nothing big.
And then just to clarify for anyone watching, do you know anyone from the German or Patty or Williams family, or were you aware of anyone from the German, Williams, or Patty family?
No.
All right.
Nope, never even heard of them before any of this.
I assumed. I knew that would be a question that people probably had, so I wanted to ask.
No.
My first real question, though, is what can you tell us about the Klein family? Mainly as a dynamic, or how well did you know them? Not necessarily individually, but the family as a whole.
I knew, I not even knowing it. I guess I went to school with Tony. I don't remember him in school, but we did go to the same high school together at the same time. I don't remember if Tony is older than me or younger than me, but I didn't even really hear of him until later on. And the only way I know him is I worked with his girlfriend at the time / was his wife for a little bit, and they got divorced. Okay. And that's how I know Tony.
And that's Jill?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Jill,
now, how old
a
are
nurse.
you?
I'm 54.
If you don't mind me asking, I know you're not stressable.
No, I don't care. I don't care. I'm 54. I'm 54.
Okay, so I believe that Tony is 57. Yeah. Or am I wrong? He might be younger than that. But I do know he was on the football team, I think.
Yeah. Yes.
So how well did you know the family? You didn't know them very well? Okay.
No. And I didn't really know Kegan until him and my son, and they lived beside each other, and that was it. I mean, not as a, hey, how's it going? That's it.
So your first real interaction post childhood would have been your son living next door to them.
Pretty much. Okay. I mean, I knew Jill, but it's because I worked with her, and we were friends, but I didn't know her, Tony and them. So I know she went through a lot with Tony.
But you worked with her while they were dating, and then when they were married, or okay.
When they were married, they weren't married very long, but yes.
Okay, and I'm not going to use her name again, but to be clear, she is the person that has been described in some of the Murder Sheet podcasts as the person that Tony Klein masturbated on the phone with.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And did you know that at the time, or did you just put it together once you heard the Murder Sheet podcast?
I haven't heard it. I have not heard it yet.
You've not heard it.
I've been trying to hear it, but no. No, I knew he was even back then we had to, because me and Jill worked the same shift together and everything else, and so we had to watch, we had to go out with her and stuff like that, because he stalked her for a while after they got divorced. So
wow. And now do you know what their relationship was like at all while they were together? Were there was it a buildup? Were there red flags? Were there things that
there was red flags,
heard that you said?
There was red flags everywhere.
And do you want to elaborate on any of that, or
just things that he would do? He had to know where she was. He just things like that. She wouldn't do much without him, and just a lot of stuff. And he didn't get along with her kid, and her kid ended up moving with her mom, and just other things.
So her child ended up moving in with Jill's mother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you know what year this, or what year?
Oh no,
took place during? Okay, that's fine.
I don't.
I was just trying to put it into context with everything.
What happened when? Yeah, it was a while ago. I mean, because Jill hasn't worked there for a while, but yeah.
But
I couldn't tell you the years.
I'm assuming it was probably after he was married to the lady that birthed Kegan, right?
Probably. I don't know how many times he's been married. Tony's been married.
But when he was married to Kegan's mother, who would have been, so that would have been like 26, 27 years ago, 28 years ago.
Oh, yeah. No. This was in the 2000s at least.
Okay. So my next question was, how well did you know Tony Klein? So you've kind of answered that. You did go to school with him, you said. Was that elementary and high school, or?
The high school. High school.
Okay. Was that Cass County?
No, that was here in Peru. He went to Peru.
Oh, Peru. I'm sorry. Of course. Yeah, that would have been, yes, absolutely. I apologize. You don't remember anything like what he was like, what his reputation was like?
No, I didn't know. I couldn't even tell you what he looked like in high school. Right. Jill's the one that told me that when I went to school with him and said, "Do you remember?" And I was like, "No," but that wasn't my crowd. So.
Okay. Do you remember whether he was popular or not?
I don't know if he was popular. Now, in Peru's a small town too, and everybody knows. Cliques. Yeah, they have their cliques, so everybody knows about the Klines, but that's about all I can say. I mean,
okay. And Tony has 2 or 3 brothers and a sister, I believe.
Yeah. See, I couldn't even tell you. I don't. That I don't know.
Okay.
So I just know I knew his dad. I knew of his dad. That's it. His dad just died. I knew that. So
February. And his mother seems like a good woman. I don't know anything, but Linda, I think, seems like a good woman. Outside of his wife that you were friends with, do you have any idea what his relationship was like with women?
I've never seen him with anybody.
Okay.
But never.
Was there anything when he was married to your friend that gave you a pause as far as his relationship with animals?
No.
Right.
No.
I'm only asking because there have been reports of him abusing animals in the past.
Well, and I thought they had a dog but that's it. It was a pit bull.
I think they've had a few animals, but I know that even when Kegan got arrested, I know, and even as far as 2021, when they raided Tony's house in August of last year, they took a dog into custody. And I think they also had another dog. I don't know if they took them both or not, but I just, like I said, I only asked because there were reports of some animal abuse in the past that was horrific. I think like as far as like him burying a cat and then the cat wasn't dead, and so he smashed it in the head. But anyway, is there anything before I move on from his ex-wife, was there anything that you wanted to elaborate on as far as violence in their relationship that you knew of, or
I knew there was quite a few times that they got into it quite a bit, and just because of Jill, but that's it. I mean, I know I told her twice. I told her many times to leave, but that's just friends being at work, but no.
And I understand. And you can't hear something until you're ready to hear it. But did you ever see physical signs of violence on her?
Did I? She came to work one time with her cheek bruised, but she wouldn't say why. But that was it, and that was only one time that I remember anything.
Okay.
But
and that could have been,
and she wouldn't
could have been anything.
collaborate.
But thank you. It's good to know. Is there anything else about that time period with Jill that you wanted to elaborate on?
No. I really. She was a good girl. She was. I'm glad that she got away from it.
Yeah. Have you kept in touch with her?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Good.
Every once in a while I see her.
She's happy and.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Good. Well, I won't reach out to her and bring all this shit back up.
Yeah.
So, okay, now I wanted to bring the attention to Canal Street.
Okay.
Now, you yourself never lived there, to be clear, for
No.
anyone that speculated on that. It was your son that lived next to the Kleins, correct?
Yes, it was my son that lived next to the Kleins.
How did your son get introduced to the Kleins?
I don't know if Kegan and my son went to school together, and that's what I told her earlier. I think they did, but I don't know. But
well, your son is quite a bit older.
Now
I know that Kagan got held back a few years. Because I believe your son is mid-30s now?
Yes.
So, okay. And
He's
I believe
33.
Kagan is 26 or 27, 28.
Yeah. So I don't think I think they went to the same school, but not at the same time. So I think the only way that he knew him was them, living right next door to him.
Okay.
And
so it's just a matter of small town USA where you had gone to school with Tony, and then your son later ended up living next door, but it wasn't until then that connection came about, and the fact that you'd worked with his wife.
Yeah.
Tony's wife. All right.
Yep.
Now, how long did your son live next to the Kleins? Do you remember the dates?
I think he was there for like 2 years, almost 2 years. I don't think it was quite 2 years that they were there.
All right. Now, were there any stories or memories from that time period? I'm sorry?
No, because my son was married at the time, and him and his wife were, she had a major meth problem.
Right.
And so that's why they ended up having lots of problems. And my son's not perfect. I'm not saying that he is. I mean, the reason him and Kegan had been friends is because they all smoked pot. That was their big thing.
Okay.
So, I think Kegan came over there a lot.
I'm sorry?
I think Kegan came over to the house a lot. When he didn't have any, he'd come over next door. So.
And probably vice versa.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm going to get into some of that in just a little bit. So there were no real stories or memories from that time period that your son told you that were like weird or kind of like, maybe you need to steer clear of these people?
No, not really. No. Actually, they weren't bad when they were living beside each other, because I mean, there was times that, Dirk would have a barbecue, and as I said, they would come. He'd invite them over, but that's about it.
Okay.
So,
and then
nothing.
Your son moved out in, I believe, the end of May, beginning of June of 2016, out of the house off of Canal. After that, did he move in with you before he went to Vegas?
Yes. Okay. Yes, he lived with me with the kids.
So and the kids had been with him on Canal Street, though, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I know that Angel has been out of the picture since, what, 2011, 2012, Christmas time?
Oh no, about the same, about 2016. I mean, because
Oh, okay, wow.
She lived with him there.
Oh, she did live on Canal with him.
Yes.
Okay. So, okay, but it was around Christmas time then that she was gone.
Yeah, it was that
been,
Christmas.
Well, that would have been what, 2015? Because he moved out in 2016, I know.
Was it 2016? I thought it was 2017.
Well, he moved.
Oh.
Well, I mean, you tell me. He moved to Vegas in 2017, from my understanding.
Yes.
From what he told me.
Yes, he moved.
And it was the summertime the year before.
In 2017 is when he moved to Vegas. That I do know.
Right.
Because it was
told me,
the kids stayed with me. The kids were staying with me until they got out of school.
He told me that he moved in March of 2017 to Vegas.
Yeah.
At the end of March.
Yep.
But it was, I think, the end of May or June of 2016 that he moved out of the Canal Street house. And he had a garage sale and he put everything on the curb.
Yep. That's true. Okay. He did.
I've done my homework.
Yep, because he moved in with me then.
Okay. So it would have been 2015 that Angel took off to Oregon. Yeah,
must have been. I don't know. I that was a bad timing. Bad time.
I'm sure. I'm sorry if I'm bringing and feel free.
Oh no.
Incorrect. If you later realize I'm saying anything incorrectly, please contact me and correct me.
Oh no, I will.
You know, I don't.
Yeah, no. I just remember that she left the day before Christmas on those kids.
Okay. So. That's what I thought. And I know I've told your son, but my heart goes out to that because I think that the way that he, regardless of whatever demons he had going on at the time, the fact that he stood up and became the man he needed to be for those kids is something that more men should do. And I applauded him for that. And I would do that publicly any day of the week because men always get the benefit of the doubt when it comes to children and responsibility. So the fact that I think he puts those kids first, I could tell that immediately when I first started talking to him.
Oh, yes, he does.
But I know that probably doesn't mean that it was always a walk in the park for everyone.
No, not at all. But yeah.
Which brings me to a sensitive subject, and that's the drugs.
Oh, yes.
And like I said, I know that I don't want to say anything or do anything that would hurt your grandchildren because I know their mother struggled with that.
No, he's a totally different man now than he was then, but he's always been, he's always spoke pot. You know, there's nothing I could do about it. It was just going to be the way it was.
Right.
He was in the military. He was kicked out of the military. I'm not going to lie about that. Everybody probably knows that because of his wife at the time. Yeah, but yeah, and so he served 2 tours in Iraq. So
right, and I know. I mean, I stalked your Facebook early on when I started talking to Dirk or your son, and and I know that it wasn't easy for you to have a son overseas. And I thanked him for his military service. And I would like to also acknowledge being a military mother that I applaud you as well.
Well, thank you.
That stress is not something I can imagine.
No, it was horrible.
Now with the drugs.
Yes.
Pot is legal in some states. That's no big deal to me. But he was accused in the transcripts with law enforcement by Kagan of participating in hard drugs doing hard drugs such as PCP, LSD, to the point where people would pass out. And I just wanted to ask you point blank, is there anything that you know of as far as your son doing hard drugs with Kagan?
No. And the reason I say that is because, and I have no doubt about it, is because of his ex-wife, that he pretty much stayed away. That was too much for him. anyways, he'll tell you any day of the week he smoked pot.
Well, I mean, he
Without
also
even a doubt.
a weed dispensary, so I think that's no big deal, right?
Yeah. So that's just how he is. But when it comes to strong stuff, no, I don't even have a doubt.
Okay. And so I know, like, during like the time of February of 2017, you know, your son, like, he had a few posts on social media where he was you could tell was at his wit's end with certain things. Was that mainly related to Angel, you think, or just his own just kind of internal depression?
Yes.
Bullshit, whatever.
It was hard for him when his wife left him. It took a lot out of him, especially trying to be a dad and trying to be the person that he wanted to be but couldn't be. He fought for his marriage. He really did, and it really tore him up when it fell apart.
Well, I mean, they even had a joint
I think that was
Facebook account for the longest time, you know, as far as where it's like they shared the profile name.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And your grandchildren are beautiful, by the way. Like,
well, thank
gorgeous.
you. I think so too. I think so too.
Okay. Well, now, what were your initial thoughts? When did you meet Kegan or Kagan?
I don't really seriously think, and in fact, that's what I was telling Sonny. I don't remember Kagan at all, and I didn't even know Kagan was moving to Las Vegas with Dirk until Dirk became. He was getting his stuff. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I told you. My son, he was moving his stuff out, and that's when Kegan came over and was helping him move his stuff. And he said Kegan was going with him. And I said, okay. I didn't know Kegan. Never knew him.
So you did meet him before they moved, before your son moved?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Just little bits and pieces every once in a while. When I'd go over there, I'd see him every once in a while, but that's it.
Well, that brings me to Vegas. Tell me how Vegas came to be. Like, where did that come from? Because I know your son had originally said something about Colorado, and so how did you learn about Vegas?
I was laughing at Sunny because she asked me the same thing, and I said, because this is the truth. My son knew I would be upset of him moving to Las Vegas. So instead of telling me he was moving to Vegas, he told me he was moving to Colorado. So that's why he went straight from here to Las Vegas. And then when he got to Las Vegas is when he says, well, Mom, I moved to Las Vegas.
Well, I understand.
So now it's a running joke.
I used to have
back then it wasn't.
I used to have my labret pierced, which is like right under your chin here. And when I did it, I was 18, and I called my mom and I said, Mom, I got my septum pierced, which is like in between your nose, like a bowl. And she was like, you did not. You've ruined your face. And I said, no, I just got my labret pierced because I figured it would soften the blow, right? So
exactly.
Same thing. So you throw out something worse.
Exactly the same thing. Because he knew I didn't want him running all the way across the country with these kids. Yes. And especially all the way there, because I was like, they're all the way, they're so far away. I mean, Colorado was bad enough, but then Las Vegas was like
a whole different world.
Yes, exactly. And that's why I told him, I said, what are you thinking? It's bad enough going to Colorado, but why Las Vegas?
Right. And, small children in Las Vegas aren't two things that you put in the same hand usually.
No. And that's what I kept telling him. That's why, I'd rather have this pierced.
Exactly. So when did your son first tell you that he was moving to Las Vegas? Like, do you
when he was in Vegas?
No, I mean, do you remember
when he was in Vegas?
So he moved to Vegas before he told you he was in Vegas?
Yes.
Wait.
He told me when he left the door, he was going to Colorado. I was all set for him to go to Colorado. So when he got to Vegas, he said, "Mom, I'm in Vegas."
Okay. And so for anyone else that's listening, your grandchildren were with you still. So so at this point, we're in March of 2017, the very end of March, I believe.
Yes.
And you get a phone call or a text from your son saying, "I'm in Vegas." Your grandchildren are at your house with you and your husband.
Yes.
And you're like, "What? Vegas?" Right?
Yes, exactly.
If you want to elaborate on your exact response, feel free.
What the were you thinking? I mean, that's the mild way of putting it. I was not happy with him at all. So
right, which thank God.
But there was nothing I could do about it.
Right, thank God you have a daughter that you can call and be like, "Your brother is an idiot."
Yes, I did too. I
understand.
Yeah, no, I didn't even know he was going there until he got there. Then It was a call and say, "I'm there." So yeah.
And then I remember he posted a picture of like the strip with the speedometer, and you were like,
"Yep,
this is the picture I get."
Yep.
And he's like, "Nope, this is it." Okay, so at this point, you don't know even that your son moved to Vegas. Did you find out later what his thought process was?
More opportunity is what he told me, and just that's where he wanted to be, and he's always wanted big town, and so that's what he said. And
he seems like he has big dreams from what
he
when
does.
I talked to him, and and I think that's
he
good.
Does. He's got big dreams.
All right.
He does good.
Right. And at this point, you don't know anything about Kagan being part of that equation, or did you think Kagan was part of the Colorado equation?
No, it was never going to be Colorado. As I said, that was just mom.
Right. But when
joke.
you thought it was Colorado, had there been talk of Kagan being a part of that?
No.
Okay.
I didn't even know that he, that's why I was kind of shocked when it was him. But my son said that at the time he wanted to go because more opportunity, better place for him to be, not living here in small town, and just better chances for him. Yeah,
a new start.
Fresh start.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Kegan was not a part of any of that at that point where you knew of. Okay. So how did you find out about Kagan's involvement in that plan? Like, when did Kagan come into play?
I didn't even know that as I said, I didn't even know that this was the one that was going to move to Vegas with him until they were in here. Well, I thought Colorado. They were in here moving my son's stuff into the moving vehicles and stuff, because he got a U-Haul, and he didn't take a whole lot of stuff with him. So
your son, right?
Yeah, no. So he was in here helping him move his stuff, and my son's like, this is who's going to Las Vegas with me. And I said, okay, why? But okay. I mean,
okay. So I'm a little confused now, just because you said that he was in Las Vegas when you found out he was going to Las Vegas. So
yeah.
So did he come back to get the moving stuff?
No. This is when they were going.
Okay, so you did find out that Dirk was going to.
I thought they were going to Colorado even when he was in here.
Okay, so
when I didn't know
the U-Haul, you said this is who I'm, because you just said this is who I'm going to Vegas with, but you really said
sorry, but no,
going to Colorado with.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is who you're going to Colorado with. Yes. Okay. there's nothing I could
And
do. He was helping it to go.
right.
So
And that
no,
was
I
kind of your
didn't
first
know.
introduction to Kagan in person.
Yeah.
Was like that time period. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, your son moved in March of 2017. Was there anything that I've missed, that I left out about what led up to him moving, other than just the ex, the needing an opportunity, kind of being a dreamer, wanting something fresh?
Yeah. And I think he was just ready to get away from me for a while, because I was kind of trying to because I was taking over, being mom and stuff. And yeah, me and Mama Bear. So I think that had a lot to do with it.
Right. And nothing, nothing squinches a man than, his mom telling him what to do, right?
Right. But, exactly.
Now, your son, Kegan, didn't go immediately at the same time your son did, correct?
No, he went with him.
So he moved at the same time. He didn't wait until
he moved at the same time.
Okay. Yeah. Because I know that Kagan has said that he went after his birthday, which is in June. To move out there, but he did go at the same time. Okay.
No, he went the same day that my son left. And he went the same day my son left.
Your son and him rented an apartment together.
Yes.
Okay, and that was on Craig Road, I believe. 1420.
I don't know. Okay. Yeah, probably. I don't know where they.
Was that
I couldn't tell you the address
proper,
of it.
or was that in Las Vegas proper?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, do you know what connections your son may have had in Vegas before he got there, or what connections he had when he got there?
None.
Or do you know any connections that the Klines may have had before they got there?
No. Him and my son had no connections there whatsoever. Wow. I don't know about Kagan. I doubt it. But no, they didn't know anybody.
Well, what could you have been worried about?
Exactly. That's my point exactly.
Right.
That's why the kids stayed here.
So at this point we're at the end of March 2017. Now I know that Tony Klein had a really good friend who I believe you went to school with as well. That was an ex-police officer with the last name Jan Kendall.
Yeah.
Who lived in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Were you aware of any of that connection at the time?
No. Okay. No, I didn't. I think all of us went to the same high school together. That's the connection there. Because he used to be a cop here in Peru.
Right.
Or was it Peru? Right. Yeah, it was Peru.
Right. And he became a chief, I believe. And then he retired and moved to Vegas. And lived it up until he died.
Yep.
All right.
Exactly.
Now, do you remember anything from when Kagan first became your son's roommate? Like anything your son told you, like in that beginning?
He was weird. He's very strange.
So he went from, here, Mom, this is the guy I'm moving to Colorado with, meaning Vegas, to, Mom, this dude's weird.
Yeah. He's
okay.
He mainly just stayed in his room all the time.
Do you think your relationship with your son at this time, do you think, because I mean, I know how my relationship is with my mother. There are things I tell her things on need to know basis, because I don't want her to like stress and worry. Do you think your relationship with your son at this time was more of on a need to know basis, or was it more of an open?
No, my son's open with me to the point, sometimes too much, but he's pretty much tells me, everything. He's kind of like me. He's kind of like an open book.
Okay.
I mean, he doesn't hide much.
So at this
So
point, were you aware that the police had raided the Klein's house in February of
no, I
2017?
didn't know that until this.
Right,
I
because
was
I know your son
shocked.
was not roommates with him, was not neighbors with the Kleins anymore. So I didn't
Yeah.
know if you were aware or if your son was aware
No,
that the house had been raided on the 25th.
No, I never even knew they had anything to do with it until now. All this stuff coming about with
Right.
Kegan being arrested and all that stuff. And then it was like, what?
Wow.
So yeah.
So you knew nothing about any of that. Okay.
No.
No. So your son also did not know about it or become aware, to your knowledge, until he was arrested in 2020.
No, because I think that would have because at that time so you say
so
that must
the
have
Klein's
been
house was raided on February 25th of 2017, which, it was just a few weeks later that they moved to Vegas.
Yeah.
Which some people look at as suspicious on your son's part.
Yeah. But I don't think he did, because I didn't even know it.
Okay.
And as I said, my son lived here with me.
Right.
And
he did not live next to the Kleins anymore, which a lot of people don't realize, but he was no longer neighbors with the Kleins.
No. And and when my son was living here, he lived in my garage is where he lived. So
okay.
If Kegan would come over, they'd go straight to the garage, because I didn't allow any of it in my house, and he knew it. My son knew it.
Meaning smoking?
Yes.
Okay.
So anything he's done, they were lived in the garage. So
and so
the kids lived in the house. Don't get that wrong. The kids lived in the house.
How old were the kids at that point? Do you mind? I mean, I don't want to say anything, but I know you have a granddaughter and a grandson.
Yes. They had to have been.
And they both have birthdays in February, I believe, correct?
Yes. Yes. They all do. Even my son.
Oh, that's right. And your son. That's right.
Yeah. My son, my daughter, my two grandkids all have around the same birthday.
Well,
so
you have an expensive month.
Yes, very. I think Kenna must. She had to have been 17.
Were they 8 and 5?
So she must have been about 8 or 9. She had to have been about 8. And the other one had to have been about 6.
Okay.
Yeah. 2 years and
so like 8
days.
and 6. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's June. It's March, April, May, June of 2017. Your grandkids are with you. Your son is in Vegas living with Kagan. Your grandchildren moved out there in July of 2017, which I know was hard for you.
Yes.
At least judging by your Facebook.
Yes.
Now, I know this is going to be really difficult, but knowing what we know now.
It scares the crap out of me. I know what you're going to say, and I'm still, to this day, scared to death.
So you do have concerns over...
Oh, I'm so worried about it. It's not even funny.
Were around and exposed to Kagan.
Yes.
Have you talked with them?
Oh yeah. We have talked to both of them extensively, and according to both of them, not very often.
Okay.
Not very often at all.
I'm sorry. Continue with what you said before.
My son's very. He's very protective when it comes to especially his daughter.
I can tell that. Yeah.
So. Yeah.
So, but you do have fears, and
I do.
Do you know? I know law enforcement has talked to your son. do you know whether law enforcement has said anything to you or your son about anything they may have possibly found on any of Kagan's devices regarding your grandchildren?
They had made my son go through piles of pictures that they thought maybe, and thank God none of them was her. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And it was mainly your granddaughter that the concern was over, and not
Well,
both.
no.
All right, because I know with some pedos, it doesn't matter.
It don't matter.
And then other times it does, and I don't think any of us can make sense out of that because we have normal brains. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, I almost didn't even want to ask you that, but I couldn't not.
No, it's fine. It's my biggest fear. It's one of my biggest fears, and it always will be. I thank God every day, especially knowing everything that has happened. It just really scares both of us, and I think that's why my son's so hush hush about it. And it's like it's one of his biggest fears, because she and he are both everything to both of us.
Right.
So
and I know that when I've been asked that question in the past, when people have thrown suspicion at your son, one thing I've always thought to myself, and I've talked to your son, and I feel like everything he's told me is honest. But I was confident in the fact that if law enforcement felt in any way that those children were in danger or had been in any threat, him being a single father and being their caretaker, that would have been a whole mess. That would have been an investigation and taken care of by this point. So for anyone that always throws suspicion his way, I'm like, law enforcement would not have let those children remain in that environment for the past 5 years if they thought that they were in any danger. Yeah. So I know that, I'm confident in saying that your son is in no way culpable of that.
No. So no, he's an excellent father.
Yeah. And even Kagan said that. Kagan, even in the police transcript, in between throwing him under the bus and accusing him of everything in the world, he said, "Oh, he's a good dad." So maybe that's the one truthful thing he said. But did your son during that time period ever, or since ever, share any inclination with you that he knew Kagan to be capable of what we now know he is capable of?
No, and see, that's the strange. I mean, that's what I can say. He is weird. This kid is just one of those backwards kids that people make fun of, but you feel sorry for him, and that's pretty much what we probably did. But he's just, he would sit in his room all the time. Even when I went there to visit, and I would say, hey, won't you come with us? I don't want to. He'd be like, no, and he stayed in his room the whole time I was there. The whole time.
I'm sure so again, Mama Bear, you probably were like, come out, we'll get you a good meal. We'll,
Yeah. Hey, I'm here, let's,
I know your dad.
You can come out with us. Yeah.
Right.
So it's
the same
like,
way anyone would.
Yeah.
Now, I know you've said that he stayed in his room. Can you tell us anything else about his general disposition that you or your son noticed while he was living there?
Yeah, not really. No.
Do you know how long he lived with your son? Your son was a little vague when I talked to him about it, and he said
because it's kind of the kids came back here for the summer. And so the following year
the following summer.
The following summer. Because I was out there in 2018.
I know
think
that you went out there in February of 2018.
Yes, and that
Because I know you
summer
were
the
there for the
kids
kid's
came out.
birthday. Okay.
Yes.
So you know that when you were there in February of 2018, in fact,
He was
I
still
know
there.
that you posted a picture in front of the Mirage on the anniversary of the murders of Abby and Libby.
Wow.
On February 13th, 2018.
Yeah.
And in fact, the Tony Klein commented on your picture, and he said, quote, "I'm coming out Sunday. Can't wait to see everyone." And you responded, "Ah, I'm leaving Friday." So it's fair to say Kagan still lived there in February of 2018.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I know he didn't stay with them. He stayed someplace else. He wasn't going to stay there.
Okay. But no, when you would visit, you did stay at your son's.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
And so that was probably that was probably the most interaction then you had with Kagan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty much.
You said he would stay in his room most of the time. I know your sons told me that he was dirty.
Yes.
I know that you said he kept a padlock on his bedroom door.
Yeah. Yep.
Did he ever leave? Like the padlock?
No. No, because that was the one thing the one thing I know, he does not drive at all.
Right.
He does not drive.
Right. And he said he was he said he was part owner of the marijuana dispensary delivery service.
Yeah.
Which, and / driver. And I'm like, that was always something I thought about, was like, well, how are you a delivery driver for marijuana?
And you don't drive.
You can't drive. Okay. So, he had a padlock on his bedroom door. He was dirty. Anything else that you can tell us about when you were staying there and you would be around him?
No, there's really nothing, because as I said, I never even seen him that often, because we would go and do stuff and he'd always stay there. Always. Never came out of his room. Never. Every once in the blue moon he'd come out, and that'd be it.
Did you kind of ask your son? Did you say, like, hey, this guy's weird?
Yes. Yes.
And what did your son say?
Many times I'm like, he goes, I know, that's just the way he is. He just stays in there.
Did your son ever tell you about friends of Kagan's, or, I don't
know he had any. I really don't think he had any.
I know by law enforcement, we know that one of his best friends, who I know we've talked to you about, Kyle Titus, I know that he came to Vegas while Kagan was living there. Your son told me he didn't remember him or didn't know him, but I know that at one point in 2017, Kyle Titus did come to Vegas, and I don't know whether Kagan blew him off completely, or if there was any interaction. But other than that, that's pretty much the only person that we know Kagan interacted with in Vegas, other than your son.
Yeah, and because Jerks, my son, is not many people stayed at his house, especially if he didn't know them because of the kids.
Right.
So I don't know. That's what I told her. I said, I don't know who he is. I've never heard of him.
Right. And Vegas is an easy place, like if I have friends, I had a friend that lived in Henderson, Nevada, which is right outside of Vegas. And when I would come visit, I would still stay on the Strip, because you're in the middle.
It's a Strip. You're supposed to stay there. Of course. And we went to the hotel. I took the kids to the hotel for a couple of days. So I did stay at a hotel for a couple of days, but that was it. I stayed with him in the meantime, but it's Vegas. Right. You got to stay at the hotel.
Right. And now, does your son still live in the same place that he lived when Kagan lived there, or has he moved since?
No. He's moved since.
So he's moved. Okay.
Yeah.
So Like I said, and I think that was East Craig Street. And I think the apartment number is 1420. But you know, if you don't remember, that's fine.
Oh no,
I know
no, I
they had
couldn't.
I'm sorry.
No, I couldn't. I couldn't even tell you the address.
All right.
I mean,
All right.
I could if I looked it up because I've sent stuff to him, but
It's not
it was
really
in a
relevant.
gated community.
Right. And he doesn't
I
live
knew it
there
was a
anymore,
gated
so it's
community.
not really relevant.
Yeah.
And I don't have any intention of giving out his current address. But no, I know they had a falling out. And I believe it was 2018. Do you have any inclination as to when in 2018 it was?
It was, I would say, probably July, August, because the kids were here with me for the summertime. And what happened was I didn't have anybody for the kids. My son had to come here to get the kids. So he came from Las Vegas and to get the kids. And while he was here, Kegan came and said his grandpa, something happened with his grandpa, and he had to leave. He came to here, and my son asked him, okay, but are you coming back? And he says, oh, yeah, I'll be back. And that was it. That was the end of it.
Okay. So Kagan wasn't at the apartment by himself, really, while your son was in Indiana. He came out.
He was but he took a plane back.
Okay.
So, and my son my son was supposed to only been here for a day, but he got stuck here. His flight got canceled. Well, we know how that goes now. His flight got canceled, so he was stuck here for a few days, and then then he showed up here, and he's like, "What are you doing?" Yeah.
Okay. Right.
And he was supposed to went back.
I'm assuming at that point there was already some turmoil and a rift.
I think there was, but my son never told me there was or not. But there was afterwards.
I know that your son told me that Kagan left him with $2,000 that he owed him. And so that all came out of the blue.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And I know your son told me that before that, to be clear, your son, he did go out there and he started working for a marijuana dispensary, right? A delivery service.
Yeah.
How involved with that was Kagan, or was he at all? Because
I
know there's a picture of Kagan with a giant bag of weed on his shoulder, like from when he would go to Los Angeles, which I assume is where they would pick up their product.
Yeah. Yes.
So how involved was he?
I don't think he had. I don't think he really was. I think he was supposed to have made the computer thingy, whatever. But I think that's about it. I don't, because he doesn't drive, and that was a lot of it was driving. So yeah, I don't think he really had that much to do with it.
Okay. All right. And am I overwhelming you? Do you need a break or anything?
No.
Are you okay?
No, I'm fine.
I just I didn't want to be like blah, 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 blah. But so yeah, I know that your son told me about the $2,000. I know that it came out kind of out of the blue, and that he just kind of Well, I think what your son told me was that Kagan came back to Indiana. It was supposed to be for a trip, and then just never came back.
Yeah. That's pretty much what happened.
Did he pack everything up when he moved back to Indiana?
No, he left stuff there.
Okay.
He left stuff there.
Like, what kind of stuff?
Just junk, trash stuff. Okay. His bed, nothing major that he
wants to touch.
No, exactly.
But no computers or.
No, nothing like that. He said that was all gone.
Okay. Now, during this time period that Kagan lived with your son, what kind of interactions did you have with Tony Klein? Like I said, I know that he had commented on a few of your Facebook posts
Yeah,
during that
that's it.
period. But you didn't have any other like personal interactions, like being like, "Oh, our
No,
boys are roommates" or anything.
no.
So you wouldn't have known him well enough to know whether
I think
there was a
we just
change.
became. I think we had just even became friends as after. Because I don't think Tony was even on my Facebook until him and Kegan moved to Las Vegas, and then I think we did just because of that reasoning. But that was it.
Okay.
I didn't go over there or anything.
Right. And he seems to like Facebook a lot. So I know that he commented on lots of your things and lots of your son's things.
He comments a lot on everybody's things.
Right. Except mine. He blocked me on Facebook, but and
he'll probably block me now too. It's okay.
Well, I never messaged him or anything, but that's fine. If the first person to ever block me on Facebook is Tony Klein, it's a proud moment for me. But so you wouldn't say that you knew him well enough at that point to discern any changes in him or his demeanor or behavior?
No.
Okay.
No.
Is there anything after that you can think of involving Kagan or Tony? We're August of 2018, and your grandkids are about to go back to Vegas. They're about to start school. Your son goes back to Vegas. Kagan is gone. Owes him $2,000. Yes. So between that and August of 2020, is there anything with the Klines that you want to talk about?
No.
Did you have any conversation with Tony or Kagan about him owing your son money? Anything?
I haven't even seen either one of them since then, or talked to either one of them.
You're just driving by their house taking pictures.
Yeah. And it was quick pictures too. Quick.
Raining there today, I saw.
No, it's snowing actually.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
So when did you hear about Kagan getting arrested?
On the news. In fact, I think I was, when I found out about it, I was at work and I was like, "Oh, you got to be kidding me." And I was like freaking out and calling Dirk and saying, and he's like, "Mom, I didn't want to worry you, blah, blah, blah." And I'm going, "No, yes, this worries me."
So he was aware of it when it came on the news.
Yeah, I think he was, because I think then is when they had went up to Las Vegas to.
Okay. So what did your son have to say about the arrest?
He's like me. It freaks him out, and we've both sat my granddaughter and grandson down and talked to them extensively and say, if there's anything you want to tell us, you're not in trouble, we need to know this. And both of them just looked like we had foreign eyes. So
did they sense anything weird about Kagan? Or was it just kind of like, oh, it's Dad's roommate that stays in his room all the time with a padlock?
Yeah, pretty much. That's about.
Now, at the time of his arrest and the time that you became aware of it, were you aware of what the extent of it was? Were you aware that it was connected to Delphi and with Libby?
No, I had no clue of that until later. I mean, like with was all this,
Anthony shots
last month.
Like, was it like in December of 2021 when the Anthony Shots news came out?
Yes.
And they connected it with Kagan?
Yes.
So it was like double whammy, right? You're like, oh my gosh,
double whammy.
Arrested for this, and then
I have Sonny, and Sonny texted me, and I'm going, what is this?
Wait, so was it Sonny? So it was Sonny that made you aware of Kagan's connection to the Delphi murder?
A lot of it.
Oh, okay. But you were aware of it from the news? Like when
Yes.
Anthony Shot's thing came out in December?
Yes. Well, yeah, I mean, a little bit of it, but I didn't put the two to two together until I think Sunny. And then it was like, wait a minute, what?
And then when did you find out that I'd been talking to your son?
I think it's through Sunny too.
Okay. All right. So do you have any thoughts on how you felt or what you like, anything that came to your mind when you found out about his connection to Liberty German? Or just the pedo stuff in general?
The only thing that really at first it was like I can't see how I'm not saying, but Kegan, if my thoughts on it is Kegan has to know something. I don't know what he knows, but I know he has to know something about it. I don't think he did it because Kegan doesn't drive. And I don't even think Kegan's ever even owned a vehicle, but he has to know something about it. That's the only thing. I'm thinking he knows more and he's just not talking about it so he can get a better deal. That's my theory.
That's very astute. So as far as him not owning a vehicle, I know that when he was interviewed by law enforcement, he did say something about like an older Grand Am or something that he had at the time and that he was driving when he lived with his girlfriend. I'm assuming that was probably something that Tony gave him.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate anything on how Tony bankrolled him at all in his life? Like anything else you know of that? Because I know he didn't really work when he lived in Vegas. So when he was
I don't think he's ever.
I
don't even think he's ever had a job. I think he just.
Were you aware of where the money was coming from when he lived with your son?
No.
Like as far as
no. The way I got it is he was a gamer. He was a gamer and he did web pages on the computer and stuff. That's what they told me which I was like, okay, whatever.
All right.
But
so
you don't really elaborate.
Your son wasn't like, oh, his dad pays for everything.
Sometimes he said that his dad, he'd have to get his Tony to send money to him or something because he didn't make enough or something. But yeah,
correct
that's
me if
about
I'm
it.
putting words in your mouth or I'm overstating anything. Just correct me, please, because I don't mean.
Oh, don't worry, I
will. So, at what point do you remember you or your son becoming aware that Kagan was throwing your son under the bus? As far as not just a little bit, but a lot.
Yeah. Not until you guys told me, pretty much, and then it was like, what? Wait a minute.
Because I know your son has told me that your son told me that he was aware that Kagan had been throwing a lot of people under the bus. But
yeah,
I mean, when you read the police transcripts from the first interview Kagan did in 2020 with law enforcement, I mean, every chance he gets, it's your son. Oh, the hard drugs. I passed out. Could have had my phone. Used my phone for Amazon. Used my phone for this. Had access to my phone. Our house was so close. He could have logged into my stuff anytime. And so I mean, I just was curious as to if you or your son was aware of to the extent that Kagan went to throw him under the bus.
I think when my son even told me, he said that even when the police came out to Las Vegas to interview him, they knew because he has a lock on his phone. Unless you know his passcodes.
To which he said anyone could have known. Everyone knew that. He said, oh, that was something easy. Anyone could have known that.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Now, one thing I found interesting was in February of 2017, when the house got raided the first time and Kagan's all the devices got taken, Kagan never mentioned your son to the police.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't until 2020 that he mentioned your son to police. So to me, that alone is telling, because if you've never been in trouble before and law enforcement is accusing you of having the stuff that is on his phones that we know is on his phones, and he's going to omit someone that he thinks possibly could have been responsible for that, not likely, in my opinion. But
no.
Your son did tell me that law enforcement came to Las Vegas and interviewed him. Do you know when this happened?
No, I don't remember the date.
Okay.
It wasn't even something that worried us, because it was like, okay.
Right.
I think we were more worried about the kids than everything else.
Right.
So,
but it was after the arrest in 2020.
Yeah.
It was not in 2017.
No. No.
Any inclination law enforcement had of your son at all was after Kagan got arrested.
Yeah.
Yep. And now I know your son told me that he volunteered his DNA. And do you know what kind of sample they took?
No, I don't. He just said he gave it. I don't. He said he'd give whatever they needed him to give. So.
Right. And I know he said he was, for like, he said that his biggest concern was knowing what was on the devices to make sure his children weren't on them.
Yeah.
I know you and I have talked about that, but do you know what they so in my understanding is LE did, or law enforcement, they did go through all of your son's devices as well, correct?
Yep. Yes.
And your son volunteered those.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. He volunteered all of it and said, get what you need.
Right. Which, if you have something to hide, you wouldn't be doing that. But, if you're concerned with your children and you just want to help, then of course. Now, I know your son has also told me that he's not been contacted by law enforcement since that one visit. Is that the same that you know of?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he would tell me, no, they haven't since that's one time. That was it. That was the end of it.
Right. And it's important to point out that law enforcement told him, according to him, he told me that they don't think he has any involvement with anything involving the pedo stuff or the murders.
Nope. None of it.
And I know I've spoken to your son about this, but can you tell me at all if law enforcement has contacted him as far as being an witness when it comes to the prosecution of Kagan for his trial?
Not yet. And he's actually been waiting for that, but no, they have not yet.
All right. And to be clear, if they were to contact him, and subpoena him, he would absolutely show back up.
Oh, absolutely.
And tell him everything he knows, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I just had to ask. Whenever that trial takes place, because I know they keep putting it off.
Yeah.
I think there's a pre-trial motion or a pre-trial something coming up in the next week or two, even though the actual trial right now is not set until September. But I would expect they probably will be contacting him.
Yeah. Oh, I expect they will too.
All right. No, I'm almost done. So now I know that, a lot can happen in someone's life in 5 years. So I know that your son is engaged to be married. And I believe he has a third child on the way, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And that's awesome. Can you tell me anything about where his life is from February 2017 compared to today, meaning April 2022?
I hope he's still in Vegas. He's doing pictures and his distribution. He's in a much better place. He's no longer a pot smoker, so which is a plus for me. He's in a really good place. He's not engaged anymore, though. Let's put that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, he was, but they're no longer engaged. They're working on it. So, but yes, he is expecting a third child here shortly.
Okay. I mean, I wish him all the best. And from my conversations with him, I could tell that he was incredibly a genuine guy, and he had no reason to talk to me. And so when we've been talking, I always got a good feeling from him, and I do follow my gut quite a bit. So please send him our best wishes and, on everything. All right. So 5 years later, do you have any final thoughts or feelings on how this entire event or set of events has affected him or your grandchildren?
It's really not. I mean, this past year has been totally different because of all this that's going on and learning. It just is, since he moved away from him and everything else, I mean, he's just progressed and not regressed, as he says. But I'm just hoping that I'm hoping that he stays in jail forever. But that's just me. So, as I said, I think that the reason he's not giving out a lot of things is because he's waiting to see what deal he can get. So, I can't believe.
Go ahead.
I just can't believe he didn't have anything to do with it, especially with this Anthony shot and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden the girls are gone.
Right.
So.
And your son never had a roommate named Adam while he lived on Canal Street, correct?
No.
Okay. Because I know that's been speculated on. I know the time that, because I don't know if you were aware, there is a part of the police transcript where one of the pedophile messages to a child starts off with, "Hey, it's Adam," and so some people had speculated that was a roommate of your son's, considering it was next door, and there was an Adam that lived on the same address, but from my research, it was years before your son ever lived there.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to ask you to be clear, because this case can bring about some conspiracy theorists, and if you leave anything unsaid, people will be like, "But what about?"
So no, there was no Adam that lived with me.
Right. Given what you just said about Kagan, do you have any final thoughts on Tony Klein?
I don't know. Tony just I don't know if he had something to do with it, but he was in that same house. So, and everything that he's, I've heard about him and stuff. It freaks me out, really. So right. I don't know if he had something to do with it, or if, I think that's why Keegan's hanging out to find out.
Right. So knowing what you know now, I'm just going to ask you point blank, do you think Tony Klein is capable of committing a crime like this? And it's okay to say you don't know.
I don't know. I don't know how anybody is, though. But that's the medical field in me, I guess, because I don't see how anybody can. I know there's people out there that have done it, but it's like, how could you do that to two little girls?
That means you have a healthy brain and a healthy heart when you can't understand how someone could do it. But but knowing Tony Klein, I just had to ask if you thought he was capable of this kind of a crime.
I don't know. I think I don't want to believe it, but in a way, everything that I've heard about him, it just I never thought Kegan would have been the type that he was, but
that brings me. Do you think Kegan Do you think Kagan is capable of
Now,
what
I
happened to
didn't think
those
he was
girls?
capable of the others. So now that I know what I do know, it's like maybe he is.
Do you
I
think
don't
he's
think, but I don't
do you
think
think
he's
he's
one.
physically capable?
No. Heck no, he's too lazy.
Now, what about Tony? Do you know, like, in 5 years ago, how much was Tony thinner? Like, I mean, I've seen pictures.
Oh,
And
yeah. He was thinning out back then. I don't know what he was doing, but he was thinning out. And I think back
and
then they said he was working out, or I had heard he was working out or something. I don't know. Might have been on
and
his Facebook or something.
there's been speculation recently that he was in the hospital and that he lost a foot. Do you know anything about that? If there's truth
No,
to it, or okay.
I don't. I couldn't tell you.
Now, have you listened to the audio and watched the
Not
video
yet.
of the person on the
Well,
bridge?
I've
Listened
heard
to the audio.
I've heard the audio of down the hill and stuff, but I can't remember how Tony sounds. If I remember, he's got a kind of a high pitched voice.
Okay.
Not a.
So if when Sunny comes back on, if she were to play the audio, do you think it would help you do you think it would help you, like, put into comparison Tony's voice or Kagan's? Do you know, you've spoken to Kagan, so
Oh yeah, I've spoken to Kagan, but I don't think I've
do you think that could have
spoken
been
to.
his voice?
I don't think it could have been Kagan's voice, but I'm not so sure about Tony. I know I haven't heard Tony's voice enough to even, as I said, I think I've only seen face to face with Tony a few times, and that's it.
Okay.
But
What's his
I
demeanor
can't
like
remember his
when
voice.
you have seen him in person? Like, what's his like, what's his aura like, or his? I mean, is he braggadocious? Is he confident?
No, he tries too hard with people. I mean, he's got he like even on I used to notice all the time, like when I put something on my Facebook, he would say like or something, and it's like, why are you liking my stuff?
Right.
Even back then, because I mean but
All right.
I don't know. He just tries too hard, I think.
And do you think, having watched the video, do you think either of Tony or Kagan could be the person on the bridge?
I questioned about Tony being the one on the bridge, but I don't. There was I don't remember where I seen a picture with him in a jacket, but that jacket kind of looked familiar to me in the picture to Tony.
All of YouTube would like to see that picture if you can find it.
I don't remember. I know. I don't remember where I seen it at, but there was a picture. So it was really, because it kind of freaked me out when I seen it. It's like, well, maybe. I don't know. I really don't. I couldn't tell
Kagan,
you.
you're saying no, but Tony possibly.
Yeah.
All
Kagan, no. Kagan's a bigger kid.
And even
and
was
his
then,
hair's darker.
So even when he lived with your son.
Yeah. Yeah, he was bigger, kind of blacker hair, and no.
Okay.
Tony, maybe, but I don't know for sure.
Right. That's fair.
Yeah.
Now, I know your son told me that he did get a feeling a few times from Kagan that he was running from something, but he couldn't tell if that was just Kagan being weird and awkward, or
Kagan being weird and awkward. Well, because who besides I know my son was running from something. He was running away from me, but Kagan, it was like, why do you want to run all the way to Las Vegas? But he did.
Right.
So,
and Tony seemed to be pretty, like, proud of that, and he was kind of egging him on to go, as far as, like, did you get a car yet? Did you go, but as far as when he would talk to about your son. All right, so I just have 2 more questions.
Okay.
First, do you have any final thoughts or anything that I've not asked
No,
that you
I
want
don't
to get off
think
your chest? No?
Where'd I go? Nope.
Are you there?
Hold on. I'm here, but I don't know where.
Yeah, you're frozen.
Yes, hold on. I'm coming.
Okay. You're fine. I've got all the time in the world.
That's my computer genius way.
I will let her come back on really quick. Hopefully Sunny's paying attention so she can let her back in the live. Because we don't want me on by myself for too long. Sunny, are you there?
No, I'm not. I'm just peekaboo.
Peekaboo.
Hi. Peekaboo. Peekaboo.
Is Candy, is she trying to come back on or did I run her off?
Not yet. Not yet. She was, yeah, I think she hit something. And so we'll just wait for
Tony showed up at her house.
Yeah. Shit. Anyway, yeah, you're doing a great job.
You're glowing.
Right. It's the skin when you're sick. That's what it is.
I just have 2 more questions that I wanted to ask, and then I'm gonna turn it over to you and Deb and chat and whoever.
So typically she goes to bed around 8. But so yeah, I'm not sure how tired. Oh, here she comes. Okay.
I'm coming. I told you I would do that.
Okay, Sunny, bye. Bye,
Wait,
Sunny.
just one second. Candy, after when Adam's done with you in a sec, if you have to go to the bathroom or grab a drink or something, please do that. Because I know that it's been an hour and a half.
Andy,
and
we're good.
You're good? You're good? Okay. I'm removing myself again.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's me. I'm sorry.
I just have 2 more questions.
Okay.
Do you have any final thoughts though before I ask anything else?
No.
Okay.
I think I covered it. I think I covered pretty much.
Right. And if if anything comes to your mind that you want to talk about or whatever, I'm sure Sunny would be more than happy to have you on anytime you want.
Okay.
Or like I said, or just message me and be like, "You're an asshole. You should have asked me this," or "This is the I'll throw it out there immediately.
Adam, you've done a wonderful job.
Oh, thank you. So my last 2 questions are, do you know? I know that you told me you don't know Kyle Titus.
No.
His father's name is Stephen Titus. Is that anything? What about the name Andrew Prickett?
No.
Because he's in his mid to late 50s. And that's his stepfather. So I just didn't know if maybe that name, if he went to school with you or anything.
I don't. Only Tituses I know are the ones in Onward. So I don't think there was any Tituses in my class or even in school here in Peru.
Is it Peru High School or was it? Okay. Now, do you know a Michael Brummett?
No.
Okay. Well, that is all I've got for you. So, I'm gonna turn you over to Sunny and Deb. They're way meaner than me. And chat. And Deb has a reputation for being very rude, so please forgive her.
It's okay.
Right.
She's kind of our rude blonde.
And I'll play with my hair a lot too.
Candy, did you need to turn off the camera set, go for the drink, go to the bathroom, something?
No, I'm good.
Are you sure?
I do.
Yeah, right here.
I'll be back. Thank you so much, Candy. And I'll still be
No
here.
problem.
Thank you very much.
So, yeah, Candy, thank you so much. I love you so much for doing this tonight. And again, it's going to spread a lot more awareness exactly again, about your son and yourself, and about how Kegan was really trying to throw him underneath the bus. I realize that, like I said, now after, hey, my head's missing. I realize that now after we talked, and that, of course, Adam has talked with your son. I'm sure there's probably a few more questions that maybe we could follow up on for sure that I'm thinking after. Yep. Oh, yeah. Besides those ones, Deb.
Yeah, I've written down the questions from this chat. So
okay.
When people ask questions, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, yeah, amazing. Thank you so much, Candy. I honestly am so appreciative. Thank you.
I actually forgot you guys were in the background, so.
Yeah, no, just listening intently to what you had to say there. So there was a few things. So CD is a great friend of mine that I really don't know a lot about in real life because he's just online, but I know that he's like this great, amazing person. There's Fig Sobs and Sleuth Intuition on there. There's some great channels out there, Frank Meister, Marvelous Marvin, stuff like that. Anyways, we all try to help each other when we can and stuff like that. But anyways, so CD sent me a few questions, and they might be a few questions that possibly Adam or yourself could maybe just double check with your son. Did you ever witness Kegan himself ever being violent at any point?
No, Kegan's too lazy.
Right? I was just joking, and I said to Candy, I met someone exactly verbatim like this online. And the sad, pathetic part about this all is that I met him on the same game that Kegan Kline plays. And his name is Aaron. And it was a game called RuneScape. It's been my son taught me it when he was little. But anyways, so fancy enough, I was looking down Kegan's stuff, back a couple months ago, and I was like, really, dude, get the hell off of my game. Because that is a predator. Those type of games are perfect for predators like Kegan Kline, to be honest. But dude, seriously, get off my game. But anyway, so you never witnessed him. You're right, because what I was going to say was about the fridge. I said, yeah, he probably has a fridge in his room too. He's got a whole good setup going on. And then Candy said, yep, he does. Right?
Yeah.
The only thing he needed was a toilet, probably. Did he have his own personal toilet in there too?
He had his own bathroom. He did have his own bathroom. So
my Lord. No, in saying that, then did Dirk ever really see him that much, or was he just always padlocked in his room or in the room all the time?
Pretty much padlocked.
Yeah.
Pretty much padlocked. And seriously, he was pretty much always in his room.
Yeah. Okay, let me see. Now you wouldn't probably know this, and I think Adam might have asked you this actually. How many phones at what time did he see Kegan use? I'm not sure if you probably wouldn't know that, but
no, I wouldn't, but I'll ask.
Yeah, you know what? Later on, I'll put those questions into a thing if maybe you're talking. Yeah. I mean, obviously, Adam's done an amazing job at talking with your son. Because he was saying things that, that we had talked about that I didn't know that they had talked about because we never had that conversation. I don't have any further information whether what Adam had said besides that first initial conversation. So he's just been kind of talking to him and, he's a great guy. They're both great guys, you can tell. And kind of like what I said to you as well, at first, obviously we were underneath the wrong impression because what you see in perception on the outside, it's kind of like when I seen that, ain't no rest for the wicked. Do you want to explain that one quickly?
Dirk, sorry, my son, he worked night shift. He always worked night shift. And it was around his birthday. And so he was thanking everybody for his birthday, telling him happy birthday, but he had to work nights. And so he said, there's no rest for the wicked. I have to, I have to make my money somehow. So this is how I'm doing it. So he'll do it later on.
Yeah, it really just coincided right around his birthday. And then when I seen that, right, I was like, oh my God, there it is. Ain't no rest for the wicked. But it didn't take too long to realize, like I said, after talking with you and with Adam talking, that obviously, this is one of those things where Keegan's trying to, the joke of it is he's throwing your son underneath the bus, but yet he never mentioned Kyle Titus's name. And then, of course, Kegan basically said, well, why would I didn't want to mention his name because I didn't want to be associated with, like basically a big drug dealer. And I was like, I mean, the guy just bullshit, but whatever. So CD is an ex-cop, by the way. Like I said, he's a great human being. He has just sent me a few questions to ask you, and we touched on that he submitted DNA, and we touched on the interview, and he was obviously in Indiana at the time of the murders, correct? Because he didn't leave, right? Okay. Yes. Has he ever used, not that you would know this either, has he ever heard of the Anthony Shots account or used, but more or less, has he ever heard of it? Is a question that maybe...
I don't know, because I think we talked about it, and he said the same thing. He's like, all this is just like, what the hell?
Okay, so you did talk about the Anthony Shots account? Yeah.
Me and him have, and it was like, he's like me. He's like, when did all this start and stuff? And, because it scares him now because of his kids. So,
yeah. I was going to say, what a sick, twisted world, in a sense. Like when you really look and, peel the onion away, like the stuff that's out there. I mean, like Judge Fouts, for instance, is a judge in Carroll County there, or was a judge. And he, of course, had to step down because he was with an escort. And let me put it this way. It's a bigger thing than that. Okay.
Yeah.
But we won't get into that. Like we're saying like sick and twisted. Okay. With that. Yeah. Did he know anything about this Dropbox that Kegan is lying about, saying that, he doesn't know about the Dropbox?
I don't know. I Dropbox for what?
Well, so a Dropbox is basically a place where you can give people access to it, and they can go inside of this Dropbox and put things in it, or look at things and blah blah blah. Like when I was a general manager, for instance, we had a Dropbox, and we could share between the computers, and they could only access certain information that someone had privileges to, in a sense. So it's a Dropbox that people can add things to. So there could be, for instance, 10 million pictures in a Dropbox. Not that many, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, and it's shared. And so Keegan's denying that, like everything he's pretty much denying is really what's happening. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we already covered that one about the pictures. If the children, and thank God. Yeah. I seen a comment earlier, and I want to address it because obviously, her son had no inkling that Kegan Kline, when he was living with him, he thought he was probably strange, but you know what I mean. So for people to make a judgmental comment and stuff like that, that's so wrong, because sometimes you don't know who a person is. Like I said, you could be a most upstanding citizen and murder your wife and stuff like that. We've seen this time and time again. But the thing is that your son had no clue at all about it, which I absolutely believe. I can tell that your son is a stand-up guy. He took his kids, his was it ex-wife or girlfriend? What was it? Was it an ex-wife? Was he married to
ex-wife?
Yeah.
And
they were married. Their kids a better life. So, like I said, once I've learned this information, I just wanted to make it very clear. And I again thank Candy for, being with us today to tell the truth, because obviously your voice is making a difference in sharing it, because it's coming from the horse's mouth and not from people just assuming or guessing and stuff like that. And if people want to twist stuff, then that's on them. But, I can, like we've talked, and like I said, Adam and your son have talked, you can tell the difference between people that are in the knowing and people, I remember even in the transcript, if I'm not mistaken, I believe one of the things he said, which was kind of, the way it was worded was kind of a little bit mixed up. Pretty sure he was kind of like alluding to the fact that, well, I just use them for drugs because when I don't have any,
That's it. You got it.
And I was like, oh my God. Okay. And then, a couple quick questions. So did you know that Kegan or Klein had epilepsy?
No.
I don't know if it's true or not. It's just what we heard. I think he said that. Yeah, that's why he doesn't drive. But that could be a big.
That would explain why, but no. I didn't.
It could be a big whopper lie. Did you know that he was an ordained minister?
Okay.
Who? Kegan?
Yeah, that he married his mom and his stepdad.
No, not a clue.
Okay. And I think
He's not a very good one.
That made me laugh. Okay. Now let's just quickly talk about Christmas. They went I know we talked about this ourselves, but they went on a trip to Vegas. Like I said, I believe you said that Kegan wouldn't leave until after your son's birthday. Was that what it was? Before him and his dad, remember, went to Vegas? How did that go?
No, my son wasn't going to leave until after the kids' birthdays.
Oh,
so that's why.
Okay, but you don't have no knowledge about, or maybe that's something we can ask Dirk. Maybe your son. I was sitting there going one strike.
I'm not the only one. Okay.
Because they went to Vegas for like about 4 or 5 days or something like that in February. Yeah, and then like I said, but you don't have any knowledge of that, right?
No, I didn't even know that until now, until you guys told me and everything that Kegan had went to Vegas before, and I didn't know that. I had no clue.
Okay, I'm gonna turn it over to Deb now, Candy, and then we'll talk again like after. But we'll just, if you don't mind, if you have some more time.
Oh no, I don't mind.
Oh, okay, thanks.
I'm good.
Oh, okay. I'm going to ask this for Hunting Evil. Sorry, Deb. He wants to know.
Okay.
I know. Do you know someone called Abriel? I think Abriel Vaughter. Vawter. Have you ever heard that name?
Vaughter?
It's like
No.
Abriana Vaughter. Yeah, it's okay.
No.
You know what? We'll show a video on that stuff tomorrow anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, Deb, go ahead. Take it away.
Hey, Candy. You've been
Hi.
so awesome. I really appreciate you
Lovely.
answering all of our questions.
No problem.
So I copied down some of the questions from the chat that were happening as you were talking to Adam. And the first couple of questions that I have, have you heard any rumors or talk about the Klines and this situation in the Peru area? And what are people saying?
Oh, everybody's talking about it right now. I mean, because I work in the hospital, so even they were talking about it. Same thing that I kind of think that he's waiting to get a better deal is what he's doing. He has to be. He knows more than what he is saying.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them believe that it is Tony, but I don't know, as I said.
Yeah. And so a lot of people have commented because they know Tony, or they just think that from what they've heard, it sounds plausible.
What they've heard,
right.
mainly.
Right.
So.
Okay.
I don't know.
And you were talking about how weird Kegan was, that he had a padlock on his door, he stayed in his room. Would you say that he's probably an introvert, a loner?
Oh, yes. Yes,
Definitely.
very much.
Yeah.
Yes, he's definitely.
Yeah. Somebody in the chat asked if, I don't know if they were asking if you knew of Kagan or if you knew if your son had friends in Washington State.
My son does.
Okay. All right.
Deb, who asked that?
Somebody in the chat asked that. I copied him down, so I'd have to scroll back and see who asked it, but you could scroll back and probably find that. Yeah. Okay. Also, let me go through here. Did your son know that? Oh, Sonny asked that about the ordained minister. You know, I don't think he was a religious man. I think he went online and got ordained. Yeah.
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 That's where that introvert comes, because everything that's on the computer, that's about it.
Right. So, and then people were asking, how do you think that Kegan paid the rent if he was not working while he was there?
I think even Dirk, even my son, thought that he did things on the computer, like gaming and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was supposed to have been building computer stuff. Now we know that it was mainly Tony's taking care of him, but
yeah,
back then,
so possibly he was making some money on his own, maybe with porn that he was sharing with people. Maybe they were paying to look at the Dropbox. I think this was a fun question. Someone asked, did you ever see Kegan in person rap or sing?
No. No.
I thought that was a fun question.
Would you like to?
Yeah.
He claimed to be a rapper, and he would post words that were supposedly his. So I was wondering about that. And he never really.
We're all a rock star somewhere in our minds.
Right. So he really never worked anywhere that you or your son knew of.
No,
in Vegas.
Not nowhere in Vegas.
All right. And also, someone asked, was Kagan's cousin in Vegas with them too? At any point?
No.
Okay.
I don't know who Kagan. No, no, because it was just Kagan and my son. The whole time that I know of.
Okay, I'm sorry. When you were there,
people would come and visit, but that was it.
Okay, all right. When you were there, did you notice Kagan reading at all?
No.
Books laying around? Okay. All right. The reason I had asked that, is John Kelly Profiler had a profile he did a couple years ago, and he believed that the killer was probably an avid reader. And then there was a book that, that Libby and Abby, or that Libby was reading, called Promise Not to Tell. And the storyline is very similar to what happened to the girls. So my thought is, I've always wondered if that was a book that was important to the killer, and maybe he told Libby to read it. Maybe he was acting out that book. So that's why I asked you about that.
No, I've never seen Kegan, even when I was, but as I said, I didn't see him very often, and my son always said he's a mess, so I doubt it.
Yeah. Okay.
And Candy, we can drop any of the links like that we're talking about to you in our chat, so that you can, like, if you want to see John Kelly's like profile, Deb can, I'm sure, send that to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. John Kelly's amazing. He has a great one out, brand new one out right now. That's kind of along the same line with the profile. Somebody already asked you, did you think they sounded alike? The other question someone asked is the last name Trexler familiar to you at all? Trexler. Okay. All right.
I mean, it is because it's probably someone here in town, but just do I know him? No.
Okay.
But Trexler is some family in this town, I think. I think it's this town.
Yeah. Also, did your son pay the internet while he was there that Kagan used?
I would guess. I don't know for sure. I can't say.
Did you ever actually? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
I don't really know.
Okay.
Probably because I think they split everything 50-50.
Yeah.
That actually brings me to a question really quick. When Ellie came and they looked at the devices that your son volunteered they look at, do you know if they looked at the wireless router?
If
Or,
it was
was
in
it
the
even the same wireless router at that point?
Probably not.
Okay.
It probably was not because he had already moved from where he was.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Deb.
So
no, that's okay. Which brought me to another question. I know you said he stayed in his room. Did you ever get a view into his room and passing by to see if he actually had a laptop?
I was
or
too
a
scared
computer?
to. I was kind of too scared to.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No,
Because I just
the
wondered,
way
did he actually have a computer and laptop or iPad, or did he just use his phone all the time? That's what I was wondering. If he used his phone all the time, it would probably be his own internet data that he was using.
I'm pretty sure he had a computer though, because that's what we thought he was doing I was building web pages or something.
Mm-hmm.
I should have guessed he wasn't that smart, but I don't know. I'm naive.
Okay.
Well, that one made me laugh because, sorry, because in the police interview, the one of the detectives says that he believes that he's the smartest guy in the room. I'm playing stupid, I guess. Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Deb.
So you're a nurse, medical tech, nurse tech. Say
Yes.
that again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. ER tech.
ER tech. Okay. So you would be familiar with epilepsy and the.
Oh yeah. I know what epilepsy is.
With personal note, my best friend died from a seizure from epilepsy.
Yeah.
So I'm very familiar with that. Would you say that I don't feel that it's likely he was doing all those heavy drugs he said he was doing and being an epileptic?
I never known him to do any of those.
What would kind
the
of
only thing
Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. The only thing I ever known any of them to do was pot,
Right.
which made him so smart.
Right. One thing your son said to me once was Kagan was more into weed than anyone he ever met, but he was someone that was into weed that could never get or had weed.
Yeah. Yeah, he's kind of like me.
So would you think that it would be plausible that someone with epilepsy that has had so many seizures that they're not legally permitted to drive would have been able to do those kind of drugs?
No, that's why I said no. If he was doing that kind of stuff, he would have.
Yeah.
No.
That's what I thought. Because I know that you lose your license when you've had a seizure, a grand mal seizure, and then you can't get them back for 3 months. You have to go 3 months without having a seizure. So,
yep.
Okay. Well, that's all the questions that were in the chat while I was watching. Have you guys seen any more pop up?
Wow, that was easy.
Sunny, did Sleuth or Fig or anyone have any questions?
Okay. I was gonna say they can answer that or look in the chat for that in a second. I'm just gonna play the video of the voice for for you, Candy.
Yeah, I meant to have that. I meant to have that pulled up, and I was gonna play it, but then I didn't have it pulled up. So
it's all good. It's all good. So if anybody of Sleuth or Frank or Hunting or anyone has a few more questions, and then I'm sure we've taken up a lot of time, but we're loving it. Thank you. Okay, so let me hit. Let's see here. Share screen. Okay, share. Okay, so I'm just gonna play this, Candy, and tell me what you think.
His voice. The grainy image and that haunting. The grainy image.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if that sounds like Tony or not. The image, though, is what really kills me. Is
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I mean, they obviously came out with, the new picture in 2019. I can tell you it's a very deceptive, blurry video for sure, and hence why they came out with the new picture in 2019. More advancements, I'm sure, which we've seen. Either way, they believe that he's a younger person for sure. Now, I'm not going to get into that part today, but a lot of people still believe that it's an older individual. But this case is truly wrapped up, like we talked about, of a bunch of caring individuals that, it's a very feisty case with people because it's been 5 years and so many people are angered by the fact that it's been
why it's taken so long. Yeah.
And then nobody could really comprehend that this whole Kegan Kline, Anthony Kline, Kegan Kline, Anthony Schott's account and all that would have come into play. And, so it's beautiful to, I think, the sleuths that the transcripts came out because it did give a whack load of more information to understand and look at. And the bottom line is just like, everyone just wants justice. That's why everyone's here. It's for Abby and Libby. It's as simple as that. But is there, so let's see here. Adam or Dab, do you have anything else that you guys wanted to bring up?
Yeah, Carol just had a good question.
Okay.
Candy, did your son have a lot of friends?
Yes.
Okay. And did he have a lot of friends in Vegas? Do you know?
No.
Okay.
Not a soul.
Okay. The friends back in Peru then, in his area, were they mutual friends with Kagan, or do you know?
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, Kagan, he doesn't have that many friends. I mean, I don't even know if he has a Facebook account. I'm sure he does, but
he does.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think he has as many friends as my son does. But no. I think they have some mutual friends just because it's this town, but no.
Yeah. Okay.
I was gonna say, does her son know Kyle Titus?
No.
No? Oh, okay.
No. I'd never heard of him. And I showed him pictures from when Kyle had visited Vegas, and he said he didn't. Because I was like, maybe Kagan had introduced them when he came to visit. Because Kyle was the only person I know of that came to Vegas other than, so I would feel like if your son was introduced to one person Kagan knew, I thought he would remember it, but he didn't. So I didn't know if Kagan really did just completely ditch Kyle Titus, like the transcripts allude to.
Yeah.
So we know that Kyle Titus did come to Vegas in 2017. I don't know exactly when, but there was alluding to in the transcripts that Kagan blew him off. So it's hard to get any more detail on that.
My son, I would have known someone was there because he always told me, but he never, that name, nothing sounds familiar. Even when Tony would come, he wouldn't come to the house. they would meet him wherever.
Right.
Yeah. I'm so sorry that your family has had to get caught up in this, Candy.
Yeah.
I mean, it honestly is. It's almost like I think would be like an out of body experience coming to find out not
It
only
is. It really is, because it's like, of all cases in the world, it's like, why this one? Oh my.
oh, I know, right?
Right.
I know.
Something your son said to me, and I won't ever forget, is I asked him, one of the very first things we talked about was, I said, you've been accused of a lot of things, but is there anything you're guilty of other than befriending and trusting the wrong person? And he said, no. He said, my biggest crime was trusting and believing in the wrong person and getting screwed over as a result of it.
Yeah.
And right from then, I just instinctively felt like he was honest and truthful.
Yeah. Yeah. He honestly gets that from me. So
It's a hard sword to swallow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're that kind of person.
It is. Yep.
Like I said, I'm a truthologist myself. I would rather be a voice to help others than not. But not everyone can do that. But this is what I'm appreciating about you, because I'd asked Candy if she wanted to come on the live, and then I think, I can't remember how it went, but you said something like, what time do you usually go on? And it sounded like to me like can I come on? I'm not sure what it was, but I was just like, wait, what? She wants to come on? Please. What? Sweet. Right. Because I'm always a fan of having the horse's mouth speak.
Right.
Yeah.
Go straight, earlier in our chat, we were talking with Jenny about something, involving something, and she sent a message that someone else had messaged someone, and we were like, why don't you just have the conversation yourself? Go straight to the horse's mouth. And you and Sunny, you were like, oh, I messaged that person.
Yeah.
And that's always been my thing. I'm like, if you have a question, just ask the person directly.
Well,
which I will say, this, Candy, someone in the chat just asked, and I've talked to your son about this, and I know that he hasn't been comfortable in the past. But someone in the chat just said, Aspen, do you think that her son would ever be open to doing a pre-taped interview like you and I just did, but privately taped, or coming on a live? And I know he hasn't been open to that in the past, but maybe with a little nudging from mom.
Maybe he'll be like,
you think he would be open to it eventually?
I mean, I think his biggest thing is seeing his face and stuff like that. So if you could,
and he doesn't have to show his face. He can just be an avatar. We won't use his name.
Yeah.
And if he's not comfortable doing it live, we can tape it, and we can always air it later. I know that Sunny would facilitate that.
Yeah, and
he's going to me as it is.
He owes you.
So it ain't going to get any worse. So.
He owes you.
Yes, that's what I always tell him.
I was going to ask you too, Candy. Like I said, anyone that knows me knows I would never use anyone. Never. It's if somebody wants to do something, they will. But since your friend Jill did a podcast for Murder Sheets, do you still talk to her? Like, would she?
I haven't seen her in a long time. We don't even work in the same place, so it's like. I even try to look her up on. She doesn't Facebook anymore, so.
Was she on Murder Sheets?
Huh?
Was she on Murder Sheet?
Yes. Yeah. 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 I mean, they've been putting out. I think they put out one today that I haven't watched yet as well. On there.
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah, I know. It's again. I think when Candy listens to all the Murder Sheets, she'll be even more shocked at exactly these human beings, and I know that you've been truthful. I know that the kids, the Bart Cranning, and that has been truthful. Like people aren't just gonna come out there meaning they're being voices. Like I was trying to get to the point of you. So you tell your son there, you just turn him over his knee, the knee. If he gives you any grief for this one, But because, honestly, it's I wanted to get your family back. I didn't want all this drama of friend number one, friend number two, and because Kegan truly threw your son underneath the bus, that is very clear as day. That your son, yes, liked to smoke his pot, did his few things, not perfect, but you can see that he moved his life, over to Vegas. He's the one raising the children, right? And he's with somebody else as well. Like I said, they got a whole Brady Bunch family going on over there, and he's, like there's a difference there. You can tell when obviously Kegan is, he's just a full out liar. And this was what someone said. Did you ever notice Kegan at all to be a pathological liar? Like, did you ever get that feeling from him that he was, besides he was lazy and, locked in his room?
No, because he never talked. He never, he was always in his room.
Yeah.
So, no, I mean, even when you see him face to face, he's like there, but not there.
Yeah. You know what, like I said, I've been in the same situation, and I'll explain it one day again. I'm still just pissed off that he played RuneScape. Because, but it's honestly like, dude, get the hell out of my game. But it's just the fact that.
Well, don't worry, he's not going to be on there for a while, so
no,
you can play it now.
Right? And so, Murder Sheets wrote him a letter to the jail, and then he answered back saying, sure, he'd be open to answering all the questions and whatever. But it's almost, but the whole gist of that was, but I'm innocent. I really didn't do anything. Like, that's pretty much what he was saying.
He seemed to have a very good idea of how he was being perceived in the public, which I thought was interesting.
He knows.
He seemed to have a very good grasp on what people were saying about him.
Kegan is smart, internet-wise, and that type of smart for what he's doing. Meaning, so like I said, I know someone verbatim like this from the same darn ass game, and they think they're smart. They put on a mask, false. Like I said, they make it seem like he's portraying. I got cars, I got money, I got this, I got that. When really, dude, you don't even look nothing like that Anthony Shots guy whatsoever. And then kind of like what I was telling you too, and this is where we talk about Flora a little. In the picture on the Anthony Shots, like the one I showed you, you have the Vroom car, and then you have the Flora house that's in that picture as well. There's a reason for that. But anyway, I think we've kind of kept you long enough. So unless anyone else has quickly anything to say, Deb or Adam, unless you got something else that you've thought of that you would like to add to it, we've probably exhausted your brain.
Yeah, my brain went to bed about 2 hours ago, but my body's still here.
I
appreciate it, Candy. But I have a feeling we'll talk again.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will.
I was going to say, you know what? I'm going to be doing a live tomorrow night, guys. Hunting Evil. I know he wants me to show his videos. It will pertain to Delphi as well. So some people might be very interested to see that. I wanted to show some other things or whatever. And again, I'll talk to you outside of here, Candy. Back on our messenger. I have a comment.
Yes.
Right. Alexa just said, tell Candy she has been a total pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
You have been a full on delight for the chat.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna. I was gonna say I'm not even gonna lie. I think at one point there I was almost tearing up when I was off camera because I was looking at you and thinking, "Thank you for doing this."
You were looking at me.
Of course, I was beautiful. Yes, my friend.
Oh, you're just so cute, Adam.
I know.
Okay. Adam.
Okay, Candy, I'll send you your money after.
Hey, Adam. After today, it's just going to be all about Adam. I don't want to see Sunny anymore.
Right?
Tune into my new channel, Adam Justice.
No, the Addams family, right? The Addams family.
I almost spit my water out.
You know,
We love you.
I was gonna say, next thing you know, Adam's gonna be a superstar. We're gonna be sitting here at the bottom, being bottom feeders.
Just don't forget your fans, okay?
He's gonna be like, "Do I know you?"
I could do. I'm so nothing. It's like these women. These women are everything.
This one.
Deb and Sunny and Mama and Jenny they're amazing.
Yeah.
I'm like I said, I sent you the hierarchy. I'm at the bottom of the hierarchy.
No.
Oh,
The very bottom.
I don't believe even he believes his own bullshit, to be honest with you. Oh, and I know that you haven't got to have you said you were, I think what Candy was saying was, you know what, Sunny? I fell in love with you until I saw Adam. I was binge watching all your videos. I think she's what she said. But did you ever watch any with
yes, true.
Sunny, look at the very last comment there.
Which one is that? What does it say?
Is that my first negative thing?
You
What
are
does it say?
someone.
What does it say?
Not every one
Rat?
of them.
You are
Which
someone
one?
now. You have a stalker.
Randy, not every one of them. Only the ones that ask nicely.
Now Adam has a stalker too.
Aw.
What a
We used
butt.
to-
How did he get back in here? Blast him out of here.
But I just wanted to, before we get off in that, Adam, don't take that wrong. Okay. Yeah.
Talk to Randy.
Yeah. Wait, what did I just wanted to.
I'm not getting paid enough for that, Randy.
Yeah. I'll pay you.
Sorry, I apologize, Candy.
I know.
It's fine.
We're trying to keep it clean, and then Adam comes.
I'm not even drinking Corona.
But I wanted to really thank Mama. She's not been on as much. She's kind of been doing her thing with her husband, and I think she's in the truck right now with him. And yeah, so one of those things, it's kind of like anything. Like I said, if at some point Adam ditches me and he starts working with Jason, then okay. I think Jason says he can help you, by the way.
Who's Jason?
Jason, as above and below person guy.
Jason, he's in the chat. Jason Williams.
Yeah, that guy, Jason Williams. He says he can help you. You can do Flora because I've got the Delphi.
They accuse me of wanting to have a channel. I'm like, I don't even know who you're talking about. I don't know any.
No, it's So yeah, so final words, final thoughts at all, Candy. I mean, just about what you want to say about your. Well, hold on. Just final thoughts about your family and what you truly want people to know about your family.
No, my son's a good guy. He just was messed with the wrong set of friends.
The wrong neighbor.
Yeah, he had the wrong neighbor. He had the wrong wife too, so.
Right, yeah, right.
I'm glad he's a good mama.
Yeah.
Yes.
When's his baby due?
August.
Aw, finally, not a February baby.
Yeah, August. Yeah.
Yes, finally.
And if he has it early in August, it could be a Cancer, like Sunny and me.
Right.
Oh.
Or a Leo.
Deb,
or
who's
Leo.
Yes.
Leo's good too.
That's a boy.
As long as it's not an Aquarius, I'm good with it. I'm tired of February babies.
Oh, I know, right?
I'm a February baby.
You're a Pisces, though, Deb.
Yeah.
What sign are you, Candy?
I'm a Taurus.
Is it April?
May.
Wait.
No, it's May.
Oh,
So you have
you're
a birthday
Taurus.
coming up.
Okay, wait.
Yes.
Mama's trying to come on for a minute. I don't know if it's Mama. Mama, if it's you, message me in Messenger. Can you guys see she's in Messenger saying anything? There's, yeah, wait, the person disappeared all of a sudden.
So you could change the message that's on the chat on the screen. It's been on there for a while now.
That's funny.
Oh, I didn't know that, Laura. Did you know that, Candy? Peru, Indiana is the home of Cole Porter.
Yes.
I did not know that.
Who's Cole Porter?
Yeah.
He's the singer.
Stardust.
He's a singer.
Yeah.
He's
He wrote
old,
Stardust.
very old.
A singer?
Like
Yeah.
old standards and yeah.
He was the first. Well, he was really African American. He's kind of both.
Oh. Go ahead.
Singer back in like 1920s or something.
Right.
It was long time
You
ago.
would know Cole
No.
Porter if you.
Cole Porter is
Probably.
we're not thinking about the same person. Cole Porter was a composer. And
He didn't sing?
He wrote Star.
No, he sung too.
He
I thought
might
He
have.
sung too.
I'm with you,
wrote-
Candy.
Can you give us a sample, Adam, of what he sounds like with your vocals?
Well, my throat is so tired.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm from talking. That's my job. Okay, guys. Candy, thank you so much. Like I said earlier to you today, like, when you meet someone and then you feel like, I honestly felt like a friend of mine was just coming on, even though we just met, a couple days ago. I just really felt like, boom. I hope you feel the same way. Delete, block you after. No, just kidding. No, just kidding.
No.
No. Okay, you guys. Take care, everyone. Have a great night.
Yes.
See people tomorrow night, whoever wants to come around and chill out. Anyways, thanks everyone for watching, and thank you, Candy. And again,
No problem.
all the best for your son as well. And may justice be served for Abby and Libby and Kegan and whoever else is involved. All right, guys.
That is why we're here. It's for Abby and Libby.
Yeah. Do you, Adam or Debbie, have any final thoughts before we head out?
Not
You-
really.
yeah.
Just again,
You're
thank you
not going to
for
worship me,
being-
Debbie, before we go? Like, Sonny, I love you, because everyone loves Adam now.
Sonny's my girl. Sonny's my
Yeah.
girl. Adam's my boo. Candy's my new BFF. Jason and I bonded in the chat.
Wait, what kind of bonded?
I don't know.
I won't tell your husband. Okay, guys. Take care. Have a great night.
All right. Thank you again, Candy.
All right. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
And we're out of here.